Welcome to Just John and April, the relationship podcast and your location for life, love, and laughs. In today's episode, the effects of prolonged screen time and the word of the day.
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
Hey, babe.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Great.
It's good to see you. I'm great, too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is your first time coming to our channel. If it is, we'd love you to subscribe. And when you like this video, because you will, go ahead and give it a thumbs up.
Yes.
It's a little warm right now. It's kind of hot in the D.C. area. It's been in the upper to mid 90s, mid to upper 90s every day for the last however long.
Love it.
April loves that.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I can just sit in the heat.
I mean,
just love it.
It's okay.
It's
but
so good.
Nah, it's too hot sometimes, man.
I mean, just sit in the shade and then just feel the heat. Like, I don't want to be in the sun in the 95-degree weather.
Yes, you do. You like being in the sun.
I like being in the sun for a little while and then go in the shade, but I can stay outside all day.
My problem is with the way it is right now, even in the shade, it's just too hot.
No,
it is for me.
It's great. It's perfect.
Anyway, this is the end of our Parenting in a Pandemic series. We have been doing this thing for a while. We noticed that since the pandemic hit, there have been some different things that we've been doing. I think we always parented a certain way, and it's been sort of adjusted a little bit during this time. And we thought maybe you've been having some of the same issues. So we thought maybe we should talk about it.
Yeah, and I think all the parents right now are definitely parenting just a little bit differently.
I think so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
probably
these circumstances are not ones that we planned for.
These aren't usual circumstances.
No.
And so it calls for some different creativity to try to keep the sanity in the home.
Right.
But there are some other things too. And one of the things that we want to talk about today has affected us, and that is screen time.
Yeah.
Our kids are on their devices way more now than they were before. And they were already on a pretty good amount. I mean, they're teenagers, right?
Yeah.
So, they're
I mean,
on
they
their
have
screens.
phones, and they were on, really on the weekends more so.
Right.
But during the week, we were going to school. When you came home, you're not on your phone like that.
Right.
So it wasn't like that at all really during the week. So really, this has changed a lot because when you're home, you think you really do have a little bit more wiggle room to add in those times for electronics.
Right.
Way more than during the school year because you have so much outside of the home.
And then add to that the kids were on their screens for school.
That's true.
So you
That
already
is true.
are basically doubling right away your screen
Right,
time
right.
because now you're on, right now it's summertime, but during the school year, that's what they were dealing with. And of course, school year's about to start again, and we're starting off virtually.
Yeah.
They're going to be reassessing along the way. Probably wherever you're living in the country, it's probably the same. So more than likely, that's what you're going to be dealing with. So here's what we've noticed, and here's my question to you.
Okay.
Let me just say what I've noticed. See, on this show, we don't speak for each other. There are times when I think April thinks a certain way, but it may not be true.
Guys, we don't talk about these episodes beforehand
Not
in
usually.
detail,
You're right.
okay?
So-
We'll say this is the topic.
Right, and let's just talk on screen so that, we'll see if it comes off naturally.
Right.
We're hoping. So we didn't go through a long, drawn-out thing. Here's my thing. This is what I've noticed.
Okay.
I think that our children, whenever we have a situation where for whatever reason they can't be on their devices for a long period of time, I think they behave better. I think they're less rude. I think they're they're more patient. They're less snippy. For whatever reason, when they've been on, this has been my observation, when they've been on their phones or playing video games for hours on end, usually when we ask them to do anything after that, they're like, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, why you have to be all like that? You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel the same way. And let me tell you when I noticed it.
Yeah.
Recently, there was something that each of them did that was similar. And we basically decided, April did. April said, we're taking your electronics. So basically they had to go like a whole day without being able to play video games.
Days.
It was 2 days. I'm sorry. Okay, it was 2 days. That shows how much I know. and my personal opinion was that the Lord all of a sudden came into their lives. And our kids were just great kids. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, man, are you born again now? You know what I'm saying? This is great.
God, okay, first of all, we have great kids, okay?
They're
I
good
don't
kids.
play. We
They're good
teach our
kids.
kids to be respectful and
Yes.
all that stuff. So they're not bad.
Right.
But I feel like, there's certain things I'm like, you know what? it may not even been that they did something horrible, but sometimes I feel like even if you talk back or you're rude, I might need to take your electronics away just so you can think about.
Exactly.
It just, helps you to think.
You want to hurt our kids, it's take away the electronics.
Exactly.
That's
and
it just,
I really feel like it helps you to think, because it's like, was it worth it? Man, my parents really are great.
That's what we're hoping they're thinking all the time.
Yeah, we're hoping it goes there. You guys are really great parents, and here I am being disrespectful. I'm rude.
And acting all brand new for no reason.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I think you're right, though, when we do that, because that's not the first time.
Did you observe the same thing that I
did?
Okay.
I did. Now I'm going to say this. We have not had to take electronics away from our kids often.
True.
Okay?
We don't do that very often.
We don't do that very often.
We don't have to.
We got good kids that they try to be obedient and everything like that.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, it's almost like spankings.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Like back in the day, like when I was a kid, it was like my mom would say, "You just need a spanking."
Right.
Like
it's been,
it's
I don't know,
time.
6 months.
It's just
you
time.
need one.
So it's kind of like that with this. It's like, because we had allowed more interaction with electronics because of the pandemic and everything and the quarantine.
Yeah.
It's like, it was time.
Yeah.
You needed, you need an extended break.
I almost felt like the
saying?
way that they had been acting, their actions were saying, "Hey, please take my electronics." Like, it's been too long that I've had these. I need you to take them away again. Because I need to remember what my place is. You know what I'm saying?
My mother used to say, "You are asking me for a spanking."
Exactly.
That's
how I felt.
I will give you what you need. And that is exactly what we did. Right. And you're right. I feel like that was it. Now, and we are parents who say, you get this amount of time. This is, this is the time you get off. So it's not like it was just free reign. Now, we do, when school is out, we give them free reign for 2 weeks.
Right.
It's like we just,
do whatever you want.
Especially if they work.
Over.
Our kids work
Yes.
hard during the school year.
Yes.
They do their work, and they really study and everything.
Yes.
So we feel like, okay, those first 2 weeks, just like we need just a time where you can just do whatever you want.
Decompress.
You can just decompress.
Yeah.
We still have a cutoff time,
right.
but still you get that, whatever.
Yeah.
And so after that, we have, okay, this is the time you can get on. This time you need to take a break. This time you get off. But even with that, they still ask. Right. For it to be taken.
Yes. So I'm not sure what that is, but I think that there is something in our kids' brains, I think, based on their development. Now, let me just say, I think that I notice the same thing even from us, though, if we spend long periods of time, binging or something like that. Sometimes our attention span, sometimes our focus level, sometimes our attitude or whatever is a little bit different. You don't want to do
anything else?
Yes. So I've noticed that even with us. And I feel like we're grown people with fully matured brains, and that happens to us. It must be doing something at a higher level to our kids.
I mean, studies show, and I've read a lot on this. I'm not a professional when it comes to that, but right. I love reading stuff about this, and studies show that long watch hours causes all those kinds of things for kids' behavior and all that kind of
Shorten
stuff.
attention spans.
Oh yeah. So we know that it's true.
Yes.
It's just when you see it firsthand, it's like, oh man, that is true.
Right. Exactly.
Like when you see it, it's like, and I saw that the kids were way more, it's time to clean the kitchen. Okay.
Right.
Like there was
But in a normal situation, it's time to clean the kitchen. They're like pitching a fit.
Puffing
they know that's their normal routine.
Exactly.
That every night you have to clean the kitchen.
Now can't we do it later? I'm like, no, this is a regular thing.
Yeah.
Like what is it?
What's the problem?
But it's the inability to just stop for a minute.
Yes.
It's still there.
Right.
But with kids, it's like, and that's kind of like for me when I'm binging, if I'm actually binging a show.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop.
Right.
I want to move on to the next
That's
episode.
Right.
You don't want to stop to have to go clean the kitchen.
Exactly.
I get it.
It makes
sense.
Yeah.
We can say to ourselves, I want to stay, but I know I have to get up. And you
right.
get up.
Exactly.
Because you're an adult.
Because you're an adult.
Exactly.
Okay, I have to do this now.
Right.
I can't just lay here, in my sweat the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Watching this show that I love so much. But let's change the direction just a tiny bit, okay? Let me just admit something that you're probably thinking too that makes this a little bit harder, and that is when the kids are occupied with their electronics, it gives me the opportunity to do things that I can do uninterrupted, and that feels good.
Yes.
So
it does.
So if we're, having a conversation and we don't normally get to have a conversation for 15 minutes straight without being interrupted, it's nice when they're on the electronics because it's quiet. We don't have to worry about that and whatever. Other times when I'm trying to work and I'm trying to get things done, when they're occupied with something, it makes it so much easier for me. And so there's a temptation, I think, to let them do it, especially now where it's so much harder to work during the pandemic. So I wonder, how do we balance that as well? Because now that we know that this is having a negative effect on our children, isn't it bad parenting just to let them be on it all the time, even though it lets me get my work done?
It is, but I don't think it's bad parenting if you say, you know what, I really got to get this done. I'm not going to say nothing today, or not even today, but during this period of time. I'm going to let them just do 3 hours straight and not feel guilty.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that that's an issue.
I agree.
But I think when it's an everyday thing, that's a regular.
Yes.
And what I notice about our kids is that when they are doing things other than, because they have other things that they like to do. You know, they do artsy stuff. John's always going out and playing basketball. Julie likes doing her little, gymnastics, dance stuff, whatever like that.
Yes.
When they're doing things like that, it doesn't seem to last as long.
True. Right.
So
they're
you
occupied
have
they're doing it, but it may be 15 minutes instead of an hour.
It may be 30 minutes instead of an hour. Exactly.
Right.
So it's like, so you have to decide, okay, I'm going to allow this period of time when I say they have to be off, where they're going to be coming to me and saying they want me to participate and all that kind of stuff, which whenever we have our times, like I know this is a time when I'm going to be doing and not doing, and not doing, because I'm going to have to interact with them with what they're doing, because they want me to join them sometimes.
They need your help for something sometimes.
Or need my help
yes.
or whatever. So I think I do believe you have to open yourself to being available in that way. But I don't think you should feel guilty.
If there are times when you need to work and they're preoccupied. I agree with that too.
And you don't have to do it often, but I'm saying if once a week or twice a week you say, okay, I'm going to give them an extended period of time on their electronics.
To give myself an extended period of time to do what I need to do.
Especially now.
Yes.
This is not going to last forever, but right now, and when school starts back, they will have more things to do.
Yeah.
As far as school is concerned, and as far as listen, everybody's saying, we don't like the long screen time. Look, this is it.
Right. This is the new deal because we're in a pandemic. This is how it's going to be. I don't
even know how to tell you to fix that.
It is what it is.
It is. Like, the kids are going to have to be on the screens.
Yes.
To do the schoolwork.
That's it.
So it's like,
That's how we interact with people now.
Instead of continuing to say, it's too much screen time, let's try to figure out how we can manage the screen time that they have to have.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a necessity.
Because it's a necessity.
That's
it's here. So what are we going to do?
So let's go down that road, because there are two more questions I want to ask you. The first one is to deal with mom guilt. And the second one has to do with actual suggestions that you would give to parents about how they can break up the screen time to make it better. So let's go with the first one. You may not be able to answer this because you still deal with the mom guilt
you never
all the time.
You never not deal with it.
Okay, so what does your husband do specifically to help you with the mom guilt?
Well, if there's a mother out there that does not have mom guilt, please let me know how you cannot have that.
Right, it's not possible.
It's not. Right. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Here's what I would say.
You help me out a lot.
This is what I do for my wife, and husbands, I think you should do this for your wives. You should be telling her every so often. Now, this is what I want you to know. First of all, if she's not saying it, it doesn't mean she's not thinking it. She's already thinking after 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever, in the back of her mind somewhere, she's thinking the kids have been on the electronics too long. And if it's one of those days where she needs to be on it for an extended period of time, that she needs the kids to be on it for an extended period of time because she's working, and so do you, every so often you may need to pop into her office, whatever room is her office now, and just say, hey, babe, listen, the kids are fine. You need to stop. No, I'm dead serious. The kids are fine. They're going to be okay. They're not going to turn into zombies or whatever you think happens when your kids are on the screen too long. It's okay. We need this today. We'll fix this later, or tomorrow will be different. Something like that, just to reassure her that she doesn't have to be sitting there thinking the whole time, I'm such a bad mom because these kids are just on their electronics all day. You got to get active in that, husbands. It's important.
It's true. And I'm going to add
First of all, does that actually help?
It actually does help.
Okay, just making sure that people know.
It does, because then it's like, okay, maybe he's right. I'm
not
I'm not so bad.
It's not going to stop her from thinking it again.
It's true.
But it will help her for a little while to say, you know what, I'm not a bad mom, because she's thinking all the time. There are these list of things that automatically, if your kids do that, it makes you a bad mom, at least in a mother's mind. It's called mom guilt. They deal with it all the time. Yeah. Make sure you are helping your wife with that as regularly as you can.
That's true. But I would say that what can make the guilt less is to regulate what it is that they are on.
So
when
that's
they are
that's really the second question. You
Okay, great.
you segued perfectly
Okay,
into
great.
that, and that is, let's give some tips on ways that we can break it up, because I think the issue is not necessarily accumulating adding up the amount of screen time at the end of the day and saying, oh, this is automatically too much. What it seems like the problem is prolonged screen time without breaks. So similar to you sitting down, they say that sitting is the new smoking. What they really mean is sitting down for 5 hours in a row without actually getting up at some point during that time. That's what's bad. So if you sit up at least for 1 minute every hour, they say that's much better than just sitting for 5 hours. So you can actually sit for 5 hours and yet not necessarily be that bad because you took breaks in between.
Exactly. Okay, so I think you are right about that.
Yes.
Extended period of time, but the idea that when they are on it, what are they doing?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So what's the activity that involves the screen?
Right.
Okay.
So it's like, are you allowing them to play games that when they're done, they are irritable?
Okay.
Okay,
so tell me what you mean by that. Are you saying like you've noticed that John acts more irritable after playing Fortnite than he does after playing NBA 2K20?
I mean, no,
Okay,
he
that's not what
doesn't,
you-
but
okay.
he could.
Okay.
I'm not saying that is the case.
Okay.
But I'm saying I think that can be the case because
Yes.
I've heard with other parents, when they play that, they are a lot more hostile towards me or whatever. Like that has not happened in our home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I have had it where I've seen, like my kids are watching something and then I watch it with them, which I recommend as well.
Yes.
You watch what they watch.
Make sure you
look
know
at
what
the
they're
games
watching.
that they're playing so
Yes.
that you as far as the age level is concerned. And so I've watched, I remember when Julia was little, she was watching this little show that a friend had recommended. And so I said, okay, let's watch it together. Let's see. And as we were watching it, there was a lot of, we call it
demonic stuff?
We call it demonic.
We do.
It was pretty demonic. So I had to say, I'm not sure that this is something I want you to watch.
Right.
And so we talked about it and I explained why. I feel like something like that could change the way that your child acts or responds. And so you have to kind of watch that. Okay, after they play that game for an extended period of time, how do they act? After
I've noticed that their disposition changes after doing this. Maybe we should cut that down
so
or not do that
I'm going to give you an
anymore.
example. Even good things or so-called good things because John used to watch. He loved Sesame Street.
Yes.
And in particular, he loved Cookie Monster.
Uh-huh.
He would watch Cookie
that.
Monster. And after he watched Cookie Monster, y'all, he would be eating like a wild man.
Like Cookie Monster.
Food. He would take his food and just put it. And we would be like, what is happening?
No,
we
he was
didn't
like 3 at this time. Yeah.
We didn't. He's not watching Cookie Monster now.
That's pretty important to understand.
So food all over the floor. He'd have it all. I'm like, why are you doing that? And we didn't pinpoint it right away. And then one day I saw him watching and he was doing, I was like, oh my goodness.
He's just mimicking Cookie Monster.
He cannot watch. So we cut Cookie Monster out.
Right.
We just did. He didn't even realize it,
Right.
and he didn't do that anymore. So what I'm saying is I think if we're more aware of what they're watching, how it impacts them on a daily basis, we could help if the time you decide, okay, you can have some extended period of times on these days that what they are playing, what they are doing is not going to affect them in a way that causes them to act out.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I also think it's good for you to set actual parameters and to schedule things, especially during the summertime. Make sure the kids know there's a certain time of day that they can't actually start playing video games until, right?
Exactly.
So in our home, we were doing 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now we're doing 3 o'clock. So it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And actually, I think what April did, she moved that time back from 2 to 3 because she noticed the kids have been staying up late and getting up late. So what's happening is they're waking up late. It's only a couple hours and then they're right to video games.
I'm like,
no, we're not doing that. So, so set a time where they know they can't actually start playing video games until this time of day. Here's what happens in our home. This is what your kids are going to do too. When you tell them they can't start playing until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they're going to complain, they're going to whine, but the day that they do it, you're going to find they are not bored.
No.
There are things that they find to do around the house that they like doing.
Finding toys and things that they haven't seen.
And didn't even know that existed. You didn't even know existed. You know what I'm saying? Now they're outside playing. Now Julia's downstairs doing gymnastics. Now she's painting. Now John's working out or whatever. There's all kinds of stuff. It's like your mind all of a sudden opens up. Hey, there's a whole world out here that they don't even know exists because they're normally just in front of their PlayStation. Right. So you have to think about that kind of thing. You think that it's helping them, or it is helping you actually to let them just go all day, but it's actually not helping them. And once you decide to turn it off, you think it's going to be the end of the world. It's not.
No, matter of fact,
my
son came to me later and said, I'm really glad that you put that at 3:00. I really like that. I like having that time.
Yep.
Of course, like I said, we give them time to binge play for a little while.
Yes, they do get to do that.
So they get to do that.
Yeah.
And, the weekends are their times where they're free to just play with their friends or whatever. But I think that during the school year, now that the school year is coming back, we know it's going to be online. They're going to be having screen time, extended screen time. Mm-hmm. But I think we can't control the screen time that has to happen with school.
Right.
We can't control that. They need to be on. They need to do their learning. At least when they're on it, they're doing something productive, right?
Exactly.
Okay. When they get off, they probably still have screen time because they got to do the homework.
Right.
And sometimes you have to type it, whatever.
Yes.
Okay, we know that's there. Like, that's there. Get them the screen helper glasses or whatever so that their eyes will not. I think that's...
There are settings on the laptops as well that help with...
exactly.
With your eyes not hurting as much and stuff like that.
So, okay. But as far as afterwards, that time, I think during the school year, you get your couple hours, not even that long. You get your hour, whatever, and then that's it.
Right.
That's it because... You can give them that playtime. Again, we didn't let them have that during the week before. But now,
normally during the week you go to school, you come home, there's no video games at all. It's not video games until the weekends.
Exactly. You can text
now
your
we've
friends
inserted
or
and allowed video games in because we're at home all the time.
Right.
But we just try to make it not that long. And that makes a difference. By the way,
exactly.
Just for the record, John read an entire book in like 2 days. It's a big, thick book too, because April changed the time to 3:00 in the afternoon.
Instead of 2.
Exactly.
1 hour.
And now all of a sudden he has all this time. You know what I'm saying? So you'd be surprised at what your kids will do in situations like that.
It's true. And that moves us on to Word of the Day.
Word of the Day. Yeah. And the Word of the Day, again, is compound word because
we do
what we want to do.
2 words for one Word of the Day.
The Word of the Day is parent-directed.
Parent-directed, y'all.
Parent-directed.
That's what I'm talking about.
We got this idea from a book back in the day called Baby Wise. It was a book that helped us
No. It was a book that did what?
Oh, it saved our lives.
Thank you.
This book.
Say it right.
This book literally transformed our parenting.
Lives. Okay.
John was little. I think he was like 6 months, and we couldn't get him to sleep.
No, it was 3.
He was only 3 months.
5
months. Okay, 5 months. He was 5 months. We couldn't get him to sleep longer than like 2 or 3 hours at a time at night, and it was horrible. We were losing sleep and all this stuff. Somebody had recommended this book.
Your mom.
Was it mom?
She bought it for us.
Okay,
guys, we had it on the shelf.
I feel ashamed right now.
We didn't touch it, and then all of a sudden, we're at this. Our wits end.
Yes.
We have no idea what we're going to do to get this kid to go to sleep. And we read this book. We write out, take notes, all this stuff. And we started, and it was just the best thing that ever happened because they teach parent-directed feeding, parent-directed playtime, parent-directed everything, really, when they're little.
Yes, and the whole idea is instead of allowing the baby to dictate what they don't even know, they're just crying, they have no idea. Instead of allowing them to dictate their own schedule, parents should be the ones to direct that. And it was a novel idea.
Yes.
I mean, we're the ones that the adults.
Exactly.
Maybe we should be directing the infant. Parents direct the infant when they're younger, and I think that should be the same when they get older.
Yeah, and it's just parent-directed this or that, whatever it is that you're choosing to direct.
Yes.
You might be parent-directed screen time.
Yes.
Parent-directed shows that they get to watch.
Exactly.
Whatever it is.
Yes.
You're directing and you can still allow your children to grow and become the men and women, and they feel like they have their own choices.
Yes.
But I think if we just gear it
yes.
into the right direction.
We direct it.
Right now, I think we can do that at this point.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. They're going to complain now, but I promise you, when they get older, they will thank you. Mm-hmm. If it takes all the way till they have their own kids, they'll thank you.
Yeah.
It may take that long, but they might even thank you now.
True.
You may be surprised.
True.
Your children want to be directed.
Tell you, my son thanks me.
Yeah.
I mean, he at first like, no, Ma, please, begging. And then later he's like, you know what? I really like that.
Julia actually thanked me the other day. She
said,
yeah, she said, thank you for the parenting job that you guys are doing. I said,
wow.
Really? Wow. Where's this coming from? Thanks. Okay. You're welcome. Summertime. There's still a lot of schoolwork going on in this home because of April. Anyway,
it's not
continue.
a lot. You just have to do a little math.
It's a lot. They got to do it. They have to actually present a research project to us, and they also have to do like a recital on their instruments, and they have to do it like once every 2 weeks during the summer. Yeah.
But the thing about it is, it's funny because they complain, "Well, it's the summertime. We work so hard, whatever." I said, we got to keep your brains going,
exactly.
So now my son is like, this is really good.
Yes.
I'm learning so much. I like this.
Right.
I love presenting to you guys and telling you what I've learned. So I think, like you said, even if they don't appreciate it now, they will later.
They will.
And you will see the impact.
Exactly
and you
right.
know, guys, we have to be okay with our kids whining and complaining about stuff. They're kids. That's what they do.
That's their job.
So they're going to say, I don't want to do it. No, no, no. But then once they do it and they're done, they're going to appreciate it, even if it's later.
That's right.
Parent-directed whatever is the way to go.
That's right. So do it. Start directing your children.
Yeah.
Hopefully that helps. And we hope that you do better during the pandemic. We know that parenting is hard anytime. It's even harder during a pandemic. So you have our prayers. See you next time.
Bye, guys.